Hey guys, and welcome back to reInvent. This is the last day, day 5, Friday. So
You look even more tired than yesterday.
yes, I'm very much more tired than yesterday.
Must have been replay.
I'm ready to leave. I want to leave. So we're here in the middle of day 5. Everything's pretty much wrapped up. They have very little going on right now, but everybody's pretty much getting out of town. We're going to go over a quick survey that we took while people are in town. Now, we're only able to get about 20 people to respond to the survey, but we kind of want to go over what we found from this. So the survey was done on Autoscale and DevOps, some questions about Autoscale and DevOps. Mm-hmm. So the first one we're going to go over is, what AWS Autoscale do you use? And it looks like here that 38% use none. The next closest is the AWS Autoscale, which is at 28%. And then serverless, so Lambda, at 19%, and then it starts to trail off there with Fargate being used at 9.5%, and then Elastic Beanstalk.
Yeah, it's curious to see, and this is a limited survey, but what AWS announced is that 60% of the containers deployment within their environment was on Fargate, right? And we're showing like 9%. So a significant difference may just be in the survey pool, but significant difference to what they see.
Well, it could be in the survey pool, but it could also just be that people are putting their containers in Fargate but not scaling them. Mm-hmm. Could be that they're just not using scaling. It shows here that 38% don't scale, mm-hmm. So that 38% could have their containers in Fargate.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So moving on to the next, we asked some questions that apply, and we found that 14% are saying they overpay for autoscaling, and 35% say the performance of autoscaling is not acceptable. 42% say they have to pre-scale their autoscale, and then the rest, or the 28%, say that the instance types they use are too large for mm-hmm. their autoscale. They're using too large of instances.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think what really sticks out here is that everybody's pre-scaling, right? And why are they pre-scaling? When you pre-scale, it's costing you more money. So whether you're using spot instances or not using spot instances, that's burning compute time. And the whole idea with cloud is to be able to scale out and contract when you need to.
Yeah. Not only with the pre-scale, but the performance. If you don't have that performance of it responding to your traffic coming in, mm-hmm. you're burning compute or losing customers, right? Either one. You pre-scale, burn compute. You don't pre-scale, and it can't adapt to the traffic. You're burning you're losing customers. And then on the back end, it's going to scale down. And we've heard people talk about this at this conference, where it steps back down. It takes a while, and we're burning compute there that's not needing to be used.
Yep. And I think you'd even mentioned, I mean, I'm not much of a Black Friday shopper, but you were online and did some shopping online and ran into some sites that you had slowness with and responsive problems.
Pretty much most of the sites I went to on Black Friday, I gave up in the middle of the day because all of them pretty much stopped responding mm-hmm. at a certain point. So it is a big problem with auto-scaling in our current cloud situation.
Yeah, they obviously didn't pre-scale enough, right?
That is correct. So next, to move on to DevOps, we kind of took some stats of what people are doing with DevOps in the current space, and we went through what DevOps pipeline are using. Now, surprisingly, GitLab is the highest for DevOps pipeline.
Yeah, I was surprised by that. Slightly. I know as I've gone and talked to people about DevOps, the reason why they're using a GitLab versus other tools, and especially code pipeline as it relates to AWS, is that they want to stay somewhat cloud agnostic, and GitLab offers that ability for them.
Yeah, that's correct. And it looks like 23% are using the code pipeline, so it's mm-hmm. a close second. But after that, you got none, you got Jenkins, you got custom code pipelines, and you got Bamboo. So it's really kind of GitLab's taking the majority of it, and it's probably because people want to stay cloud agnostic and they want to move that context off to somebody else. Yep. But after that, it's kind of just Wild West what you're using.
Yep.
So now there is some useful information we gathered here. There's about 13% say that their DevOps pipelines are just not useful at all. Mm-hmm. And then we've got 25% that says it takes up too much developer time when it's supposed to be something to relieve developer time. And then the last part here, which with a whopping 88%, is that they're too complex. The pipelines are too complex. They're not simple enough to deal with. And that's probably why they're taking up too much developer time as well.
Yep. And I would agree. And that there's a reality in whatever tool you use, whether it's GitLab or Code Pipeline. It's a lot to build and a lot to configure. And that's why you see a lot of ads for DevOps people, right?
Yeah.
What are the DevOps people?
Well, it's supposed to speed up things. And now we're hiring jobs. We're hiring full-time employees to manage this new thing when I was supposed to bring ops and developers together. Well, I still got my ops, still got my developers. Now you have more employees as DevOps employees, right? How is this making it simpler, right?
Exactly.
So there's one just last one that we wanted to go through with people. It's just how many DevOps tools are you using? There seems to be a lot of tools out there that pull all these tools together, and there's a lot of different tools for DevOps. And I just wanted to see how many different tools people are on average using. The biggest percentage was at 24%, so a quarter of the people say they're using about 3, and then it starts to step down from there. Then it's 20% say they're using 2, and about 15% say they're using 1. After that, it kind of it goes to 0. 20% are using nothing, right? No DevOps tools. And then after that, it's just kind of, again, Wild West. It's very sporadic in the numbers. So looks like a lot of complexity to me.
Yeah, and I think that's what you and I have seen as we've talked with people about DevOps and their DevOps implementations is either it's super complex, there's a lot of tools that you use, and it's tough to be able to manage them all.
Okay. Yeah, well, that's it. We're saying goodbye to Vegas. We'll see you guys next year at reInvent, but we're Mizer. If you haven't looked us up, it's mizer.io. We basically do Autoscale in the cloud, and we do it in AWS right now. We're going to move to the other platforms as well so that you can deploy in Azure or Google. But right now we're doing it in AWS, and we scale better than AWS. We basically we monitor every second, and we adapt your servers to the traffic that's coming in to add performance and reduce cost. If you want any more information, go to our page, contact us, and we'd be glad to go through a demo or a pilot with you.
Yeah, exactly.